What happens when a Thai man moves to Australia? In Thailand, his prostate cancer risk is 1/22nd of ours, among one of the lowest on the planet. But within one generation of living in a Western country, eating a Western diet, the protection disappears, not partially, almost completely. Now, that finding, replicated across multiple immigration cohort studies, tells us something that the genetics argument never could. It's not who you are, it's what you eat. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 things Asia gets right at the dinner table that most Western men have never tried, and 3 things that, on average, the Australian plate that are actively working against your prostate. Every one of them backed by published clinical evidence. For those of you new to the channel, I'm Associate Professor Charles Chabert. I'm a director of the Prostate Clinic with over 20 years experience as a urologist. I don't do food fads, but I do follow the evidence, and this evidence is too strong to ignore. Okay, for a long time now, low prostate cancer rates across East and Southeast Asia were explained away as a genetic advantage. Men of Asian descent, the argument went, simply had different androgen receptor biology. But then researchers started following Asian men who moved to Western countries, and that explanation collapsed. In 2025, a review published in Cancers confirmed it directly. Australian men who immigrated to Western countries exhibit significantly higher rates of prostate cancer than men who remain in their country of origin. The gene pool hadn't changed, the food had. A 2026 paper in Frontiers in Public Health went further, identifying obesity-linked gene expression triggered by Western dietary patterns as a key mechanism. The diet wasn't just adding calories, it was switching on genes that promote cancer growth. That's a finding that should stop every man in this room, because it also means the protection is transferable. You don't have to be Asian, you do have to eat like Asian people do. Here's the comparison I want you to save. Column 1 creates an anti-inflammatory hormone balancing environment in your prostate tissue. Column 2 does the opposite, and we've been eating it for 60 years. Number 1, lycopene. Now, lycopene is the red pigment in tomatoes and guava, in watermelon. Now, multiple large studies link consistent lycopene intake to meaningful lower rates of clinically significant prostate cancer. The mechanism, it reduces oxidative stress in prostate cells and slows abnormal cell proliferation. Now, the critical nuance: this effect is stronger with cooked tomatoes. Heat breaks down the cell wall. It makes lycopene significantly more bioavailable. Raw tomato on a salad is good. A slow-cooked tomato-based dish 3 times a week is better. I've done a full dedicated breakdown on lycopene on this channel. I'll leave a link in the description. Number 2 is soy isoflavones. Traditional diets across Thailand, Japan, Korea are built around soy. Tofu, miso, tempeh, edamame. The isoflavones in soy particularly mimic estrogen at a receptor level, and they appear to moderate the androgen-driven growth activity that fuels prostate cancer. A published clinical study found isoflavones may slow PSA doubling time in men with biochemical relapse. Now, if you know what PSA doubling time means, you understand why that matters. Food-based soy, not supplements, is where the evidence is consistently strongest. Number 3 is green tea catechins. EGCG, the primary active compound in green tea, is one of the most studied natural anti-inflammatory agents that we have. A phase 2 randomized controlled trial found green tea catechins showed measurable activity in men at elevated prostate cancer risk. Now, one honest caveat: emerging data suggests green tea supplementation, not food-based tea, may not be appropriate in men with high-grade PIN or ASAP Now, if that applies to you, check with your urologist before you add any supplement. 1 to 3 cups of food-based green tea daily is a different conversation entirely. Number 4 is curcumin. Now, turmeric is a daily staple across Southeast Asia. A 2024 meta-analysis in Frontiers in Pharmacology found curcumin inhibits prostate cancer growth pathways and reduces the chronic low-grade inflammatory pathway that drives cancer progression over decades. Most curcumin research to date is preclinical or early phase, and I'll be honest about that. But the biological mechanism is sound, the safety profile of food-based turmeric is excellent, and the population data from Asia is consistent with what the bench science predicts. Number 5, cruciferous vegetables. So broccoli, bok choy, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. These contain sulforaphane, which is a compound that activates tumor suppression gene expression. A phase 2 clinical study found that sulforaphane-rich broccoli sprout extract, it showed activity in men with recurrent prostate cancer after treatment. Now, in Thailand, bok choy is on the plate every day. In the average Australian household, a cruciferous vegetable appears maybe twice a week. Lightly steam them. Remember, heat destroys the sulforaphane before it reaches your bloodstream. Now, on the other side of the ledger, red and processed meat. A 2025 systemic review confirms it. High red and processed meat intake is associated with an increased risk of aggressive prostate cancer. The mechanism involves heterocyclic amines, which are compounds that are formed during high temperature cooking. Think barbecues or high temperatures on a hot plate. Now, those chemicals, they interact with the androgen-dependent pathways. Now, this is not never eat red meat, but it is frequency and cooking method. Twice a week, not twice a day, for example. Now, full-fat dairy. Now, this one surprises many men. Combined high intake of red meat and full-fat dairy has been associated in multiple studies with up to double the risk of metastatic disease. The mechanism of insulin-like growth factor 1, which is a hormone, dairy drives significantly higher. IGF-1 promotes cell proliferation, including in prostate tissue. Processed sugar and refined carbohydrates. We've covered metabolic syndrome on this channel in depth previously. The short version basically is chronic high insulin from a persistently high sugar diet. Well, that creates a hormonal environment that favors both cancer development and progression. Same mechanism that links obesity to Gleason upgrade risk. Now, you don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to start somewhere. Number 1, cook tomatoes 3 times a week. Pasta sauce, stew, soup. Heat is the key to denature the protein and increase the availability of lycopene. Number 2, green tea is your default morning drink or your afternoon drink. 1 to 3 cups a day. It's not a supplement, just a cup of green tea. Number 3 is 1 soy-based meal each week. Tofu, stir fry, miso soup, edamame for dinner. Consistent, not dramatic. And number 4 is broccoli or bok choy twice a week, lightly steamed, not boiled to death. The rest, the curcumin, the isoflavones, the full dietary shift, follows naturally once those 4 are locked in. Okay, so here is where we land. Asian men don't necessarily have a genetic advantage over non-Asian populations. They do have a dietary one, and that gap has been closing for 20 years as Western food culture spreads across Asia. The immigration data tells us something that we can actually use. The protection is not locked in biology, it's built at the dinner table, over decades, 1 meal at a time. As always, not to scare you, but to give you the information that could genuinely save your life. If you're already on active surveillance, if you're recovering from surgery, if you're on hormone therapy, this still applies. Chronic inflammation and IGF-1 don't pause because treatment is underway. The dietary environment that you create, it matters regardless of where you are in this disease journey. Make one change this week, pick one of the 4, start there. If you haven't had a PSA conversation with your GP yet, make a call. It's a blood test, takes 5 minutes, and could change everything that comes after. If you got benefit from the video, please have a look at this video here, or have a look at this video here. Until the next time, take care of your prostate.